Welcome everyone from the Bennett family of companies to this presentation of our annual Driver of the Year Awards. I'm Kris Rzepkowski, Vice President of Marketing and Communications for the Bennett family of companies.
Yeah, I just want to say welcome. Thank you so much for taking the time to come here and let us honor you for the sacrifices that you've made for Bennett this year and last year and all the other years that you've worked for Bennett. And we just want to say thank you so much. As Kris said, I'm Lynette Mathis, Vice President of Bennett. I'm Marcia's daughter. Worked in marketing and worked at Bennett for over 30 years. And I was thinking about this week, we've been working on our 50th year anniversary book. And it made me think back at early on whenever my dad, JD, and my mom started the company, and they would bring me to the office, and I think I was probably third grade or something at that time. And I was introduced to our drivers that we had there, JW and Willie, and a lot of the drivers that are no longer with us, unfortunately, have passed on. But I remember how my dad always treated them like they were family. And and my mom has done that too, and instilled in us that you don't just work for Bennett, you're our family. And we hope that you feel that every day. And I know, we all get busy in our jobs, and sometimes we get short on the phone, or, we just get busy doing life, and you might not feel that, that we're honoring you, but we really are. We know that our blessings come from God, number one. Number two, if it wasn't for our drivers out on the road, we would not have what we have today. Everything that we have is because you guys sacrificed for us. And my mom has always been very good about reminding us of that at any day it can go away. And that's why we have to stay safe on the road. We could get in a lawsuit that just tears us apart as a company. And so we really try to keep everybody very safe. Safety's priority one. We're very proud of that, and we appreciate all of you and how you represent Bennett on the road and how safe you are when you're out there. We try to remind the motoring public that, that we're trying to be safe, but to respect our drivers as well. You're heroes to us, and we know sometimes you don't feel like that to the motoring public. Maybe you don't feel that way from our corporate office, but you really are heroes on the road to us every day. And we just wanted to bring you here to RCR so that you could see that, we are spending a lot of money on this race car, and we're getting a lot of publicity, and Austin's doing what he's supposed to be doing, which is out there really representing us well. But we wanted you to feel what we feel, the excitement we feel for having a race car every day. And I hope, I know the team here was excited that Bennett was here. They tell us that we're their favorite sponsor. And we'll take that all day long, right? So let's bow our heads and go to the Lord in prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you for this wonderful day that you've given us, Lord. Just thank you for each and every person that's here represented today. Thank you for their loyalty, their dedication. And Lord, just let them feel your presence when they're out on the road, away from their families. Keep them safe as they travel up and down the road. Keep all of our drivers safe as they are out working so diligently to get the loads moved. And Lord, thank you for Richard Childress Racing, their whole team, and what they represent here. And Lord, thank you for Austin and his dedication to being in the racing industry and how he represents Bennett. And Lord, we just ask for that win this weekend. Just put it right out there, Lord, that we want to be out there doing the right things at the right time. And Lord, we just ask that you give Austin the clarity and the knowledge to do the right moves when he needs to make those moves happen. And Lord, thank you for our agents that's out in the field, our employees that work every day at the home office. And Lord, we just love you. We love you for being in our lives, giving us the blessings that you do. And Lord, let us be a light to shine for you and whatever we do and wherever we go. We ask all this in your Son's name, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you, Lynette. What an amazing opportunity as sponsors of the number 21 Austin Hill NASCAR Xfinity Series car built right here at Richard Childress Racing to be able to come to this historic facility and honor our Drivers of the Year for 2022. Where we are standing is the state-of-the-art shop, home to winners like Ricky Rudd, Kevin Harvick, Clint Boyer, and now Austin Dillon and Kyle Busch. Later at the museum, we'll be inside of the first shop where Team RCR built the legendary Dale Earnhardt Sr.'s car, the Intimidator, the black number 3 stock cars that he used to win 6 of his 7 Winston Cup Series championships. Pretty cool. To see the hard work that goes into being a champion Hall of Fame race car driver is an amazing reminder of what it takes for our truck drivers of the year to be champions in our company as well. Parkman, Roach, Collins, Bacon, Lehmiller, Blevins, Hanna, Sweetman, McDaniel. Feels pretty good in these halls, doesn't it? We will see the trophies today for these amazing men and women who drive for Bennett. What we will not see is their personal museum honoring their sacrifices and their skills that they have built over so many years in the truck driving profession to be the best of their craft. How many engines have these drivers fixed? How many hours have they spent on the road, or worse, on the side of the road, to get the job done for our customers safely and securely? Today's awards will honor their professionalism, passion, and pride in driving a truck or delivering a truck for the Bennett family of companies. Many have asked, what are the criteria for the Drivers of the Year? Well, Bennett's Drivers and Contractors of the Year are selected from our Drivers of the Month award winners. Bennett's Drivers of the Month are designated by the operations teams for excellence during that time period. Often a customer calls into Bennett to tell us that that driver did an outstanding job for them. Or maybe the operation was in a bind that month and the driver helped us to achieve the impossible. Our Drivers of the Month are recognized on social media and within the business unit for a job well done. The Bennett family of companies' Drivers of the Year are even more significant. Not only did they have a great month during 2022, but they are worthy of recognition as a driver who moves the needle for Bennett over the long haul. These are the drivers that set the tone for the company, representing safety, reliability, professionalism in front of the customer, respect amongst their fellow drivers, and consistency in revenue by keeping the wheels turning. In years past, we had our Drivers of the Year to our symposium in front of hundreds of employees and freight agents, but the feedback from the drivers was, well, that's not really my crowd. So we thought, how about a much more intimate experience at a place that smells of motors and paint and racing fuel? And we certainly hope that this is more your style. All of our leaders here with you this afternoon are excited to recognize you. And perhaps the most excited is the CEO and founder of the Bennett family of companies, Mrs. Marcia Taylor, to say a few words.
What an honor it is to be here today, to be here at RCR and have the opportunity to just honor all of our Drivers of the Year. Y'all are so very, very special to us, and I'd like to congratulate each one of you today for your accomplishments and for being named as Bennett's Driver of the Year. You know, we have over 4,600 drivers, so for you to be named out of your peer group, it is extremely, very, very special. And we want to thank you for your commitment to Bennett, for your commitment to our core values, for your commitment to safety first and foremost, for your commitment to our drivers. You are just the very best of the best that we have, and we want to thank you for that. You know, Lynette just was talking about that next year we're going to have our 50th year anniversary. So what that's really done for all of us, we're doing a coffee table book to where we want to honor and represent a lot of the people that have helped us over the last 50 years. And what it's done for me is it's made me go back in time and think about, like Lynette said, the drivers like JW and Willie Valiant and some of the drivers that that just were always there with us. And one of the things that it's made me think about, we've been looking for old pictures, and so finding all these cool pictures of some of these old trucks that we drove, and they don't look like the trucks that you guys drive on the road today, but you know, they were the best that we had at the time. And so one of the things that came back to me, and this is in the early 70s and 80s, and some of you probably weren't even alive in the 70s and the 80s, but anyway, when we got off work, JD and I would go to the truck stop. There was, at our exit, there was a big Seago truck stop, and for a long time, we had a little trailer behind the truck stop, and then we got to move down the road into Knight's old grocery store. But we would go and we'd find whatever drivers we had that was sitting there waiting on a load, and we loaded a lot for Armstrong Cork out of Macon, and for Pabst Blue Ribbon beer, and for Carling Black Label beer out of Atlanta. So we go find whatever drivers were there and go sit down, and some of the best times I've had is sitting on the back of a flatbed trailer where driver pulled out a grill, and we'd sit there and grill food and drink a beer and just sit there and listen to truck driver stories. Loved it. My favorite time, and of course JD was a truck driver for a lot of years, and so he certainly enjoyed doing all of that. And, you know, a lot of things have changed over the last 50 years in trucking. A lot more regulations, a lot more traffic, we do our logs different. You can just name all the things that have changed. But one of the things that has not changed is the fact that we love this industry, and we love those that are in this industry, and that will never change. That's why we're so appreciative of each one of you and what you go out there and do every day. You know, COVID was a terrible thing, but one of the things that I think that it taught a lot of people in this country was exactly what you guys do every day. What you bring to this country that just is taken for granted. I know I was in Jackson, and right after COVID, they had announced that, you know, they were doing the shutdowns, and we'd gone to the grocery store, and I'm standing there looking at all these empty shelves, thinking, oh my goodness, there's nothing here. And this little lady came over and just kind of patted me on the shoulder, and she said, don't worry, honey, there'll be a truck here tomorrow. That brought it all home to me about what highway heroes you all are and what you do for this country every day. So I just want to thank you for that. Thank you for what you do, for what you do so well. And glad we're here to be able to celebrate you. As Lynette said, we know our blessings come from God, and you all are such a part of those blessings. So thank you very much.
Good afternoon. The 2022 BME General Freight Driver of the Year bought his first truck at 18 years old, and has been part of the Bennett family for over 2 decades now, beginning with us in April of 2002. From the beginning, his work ethic, commitment to a safety-first mindset, and extraordinary customer service earned him a reputation with the agents as being a driver that could be counted on to get the job done, and earned him a spot on the driver advisory board during the first half of his tenure. Today is business as usual with this driver continuing to handle some of our most sensitive freight, primarily Lenco Industries, which manufactures armored vehicles for various first responder, law enforcement, and military applications. When this driver has some downtime at home, he enjoys riding motorcycles and spending time with his girlfriend Cindy and their family. The award for Driver of the Year is not an easy process or choice to make, but given his stellar year in 2022 and consistent performance over 2 decades, this one was not too difficult. His professionalism represents the Bennett brand extraordinarily well, and we are so thankful that he's on our team. Please join me in congratulating Bob Parkman, truck 205750, on a job well done and being selected as Bennett Motor Express J.W. Jackson General Freight Driver of the Year. Cindy, sorry. Congratulations.
You're in the picture.
Okay, this year's BME Heavy Haul Driver of the Year has had trucks leased on to Bennett for nearly 10 years, originally joining in January of 2014. Through the years, he has purchased and leased other trucks to grow his small family business. He's currently running 3 trucks at Bennett and spends most of his days either supporting his drivers and family or running regional or special projects for us, utilizing his experience and quality in the oversized space. This owner-operator has been happily married since 1998. He and his wife have 6 children combined between the 2 of them, and we're so grateful to have 2 of them here with us today as well. Family time is extremely important, and with a large family, cooking is obviously a cornerstone in their home. I can testify to that. Last year's family provided us with a Jamaican feast in the office, and while we won't take any credit for cooking, he won't take any credit for cooking, we can verify firsthand that the skills in the kitchen are on the same level it takes to win this award. And I know what you're thinking, and yes, we can be bribed with fantastic food, but no, we did not select this driver because of the family cooking skills. But in all seriousness, this year's winner has all the intangibles: hard worker, honest and dependable, a great communicator, safety is always paramount, and operationally he has all the skills to handle some of our largest moves. I think 19 wide in downtown Atlanta qualifies for that. Most recently, he's been helping with our block superloads or on our new account, Yancey Caterpillar. I could go on, but I'm thrilled to ask you and joining me to congratulate Bruce Roach and his wife Wendy as our 2022 Heavy Haul Driver of the Year. The 2022 BME Company Driver of the Year began their career with Bennett as a company driver in the Heavy Haul Division in 2017. Since the beginning, this driver has gone above and beyond our expectations by demonstrating what it means to be a professional driver. Positive attitude, exceptional skill driving, humble, and always willing to help others. In 2018, this driver began hauling in our Aerospace Division, and she consistently provides outstanding service to one of our largest customers. The current freight being hauled by this driver are critical components of the F-35 in support of our U.S. warfighter, and the average dimension is 15 foot wide and sometimes larger. This is considered a dedicated move, but in aerospace production, nothing is consistent other than the constant change in schedules and delivery requirements that must be met. This driver can always be counted on to be there and handle the problems with professional service. She exemplifies our core values in everything she does and is always the consummate professional. This year's winner has shown over and over the values and qualities that you want to see from a company driver, and in addition to what it means to be a woman in the driver's seat. This year's winner is above all a mother and a grandmother before she is a great company driver and wife, recently. Please help me in congratulating this year's Company Driver of the Year out of our Heavy Haul Aerospace Division, Miss Tammy Collins Sheffield.
And she can cook too.
Here you go.
The Bennett Heavy and Specialized Company Driver of the Year Award is being presented to the driver who represents Bennett Heavy and Specialized remarkably well and who operates as one of only a handful of single drivers in the BHS fleet. Our 2022 Driver of the Year began his service with BHS on June 1st, 2018, as a member of only 3 months shy of being named as an original plank holder. For those of you not familiar with the term plank holder, our Driver of the Year most certainly is. A plank holder is defined in the United States Navy as an original crew member of a newly christened vessel. He knows that because he served honorably as a submarine repairman in the United States Navy. And you'll get a chance to meet the program director for the United States Navy submarine program this afternoon. Excuse me. I write better than I read. He knows that because he served honorably as a submarine repairman in the United States Navy. He continues to serve his country and BHS in a multitude of roles and operates with a kind heart, a smile on his face, and a can-do attitude. He contributes immeasurably to the success of his fellow drivers, and while he operates mostly behind the scenes, his contributions show up month after month in the BHS revenue and profit numbers. Our Driver of the Year understands that every member of the team is valuable, and that each team member must row at the same time in the same direction if the team is going to be successful. This driver understands that, and without his contributions, many drivers would be forced into shuttling empties or repositioning trailers. His contributions don't end there, as he continually volunteers to serve our company ambassador at a myriad of community engagement events. He performs magnificently under all conditions and can always be counted on to step up when needed. It is with a great deal of pride and pleasure that I present to you the VHS 2022 Company Driver of the Year, Mr. Ervin.
Ace Doran Driver of the Year for 2022. This outstanding owner-operator has been leased to Ace Doran since February of 2014. Over the last 3 years, he has had multiple clean roadside inspections, no cargo claims, and no at-fault accidents. He is consistently among the top revenue producers at Ace Doran, but equally as important, maintains an outstanding safety record. For the last several years, Don has also served on the Driver's Advisory Board and was recently elected chairman of that group. Don brings a level of professionalism to that position and is doing an outstanding job. Don and his wife Heather recently moved to the small town of McDaniel, Ohio, near Canton. His interests outside of trucking include sailing, guns, ammo, reading, cars, and fabrication. I think they're trying to hire you down there, Don.
Yeah, they might.
Heather says laughingly that they used to ride motorcycles, canoe, and run, but now they enjoy a little swimming and playing video games mostly. Don exemplifies what a professional owner-operator should be. Although he is a younger man, in many ways, Don represents the old school of owner-operators who is always willing to assist a fellow trucker or motorist in need. DJ is known amongst his peers as a person who is always willing to help others. We consider ourselves very fortunate to have an owner-operator of this caliber representing our company out on the road each day. We are proud to announce the Ace Doran Driver of the Year for 2022 is Mr. Don Lehmiller.
You know, after we sat there last night for 4 hours at the same table, this speech could have went a whole lot of different ways, but I'm gonna go ahead and stick to what I got here, okay? You know, Bill Blevins joined BTT in February 2001, worked for the late Peggy Rathon and Julie Sutherland, mother and daughter team at OTX Terminal in Texas. He is the go-to guy for all the Texas terminals. Bill is a member of the President's Million Mile Club, reaching over 1.4 million miles in 2022. Bill and his lovely bride Tina been married over 15 years, reside in Mansfield, Texas. They enjoy cooking, shooting, spending time with the grandchildren, although Bill has been warned that he's teaching bad habits to the boys. They are avid NASCAR fans, especially Tina, and are thrilled to be here. A little side note, as you all know, all truck drivers have certain habits and tendencies. You will always find a fresh can of sardines in Bill's truck anytime. Bill, thanks for choosing to be a part of BTT, Shane Shake family. And by the way, Bill and part of the other Driver of the Year recipients is working on creating a secret handshake for BTT. So I don't know what that's going to be, so stay tuned. Please join me in congratulating Bill Blevins as BTT Toter Driver of the Year for 2022. Different ways with that.
Anyhow, DriveAway has over 2,000 drivers and spread over 3 different divisions, so you can imagine how tough it is to pick 3 people to be Driver of the Year. We have 3 outstanding people this year that well represents Bennett DriveAway. Excuse me. I want to start out with the DriveAway Driver of the Year. Gentleman's been with us for 6 years, has accumulated over 600,000 safe miles in those 6 years. was a mathematics teacher for 15 years in high school. Decided to start driving a truck on the encouragement of a cousin that worked with Bennett DriveAway. Now he has 10 family members, including his wife of 30 years, that is working and driving for DriveAway, which, you know, we preach family, so we got a whole family that's doing nothing but DriveAway, which is wonderful. Has become very respected, the go-to person in DriveAway. Loves to do the RVs out of Winnebago. Really enjoys that. So please join with me, if you would, to congratulate Michael Hanna as DriveAway Driver of the Year. Next, we want to talk about a gentleman that does our power only. I can stand here all day and talk about the accolades this gentleman has just a very few. Start out Army vet, which is wonderful. Over 50 years behind the wheel of the truck. Over 5 million safe miles in those 50 years. During the shutdown, he volunteered to freely take food, water, other supplies to people across the United States, generators, so on and so forth, across the United States. Is one of the original founders of Trucker Buddies. He's number 17 of Trucker Buddies of 250,000 who does this today. Trucker Buddies is a group that speaks to young students across the United States, encouraging future generations of professional drivers through tales of the road and showcasing how essential trucking is to the economy and our way of life. He is a recipient of the 2022 Pilot Flying J Road Warrior Champion of the Year. He loves his operation team in Elkhart. He thinks it's the best team that is there. Extremely strong advocate of safety and believes that safety is priority one. Please join with me to congratulate David Sweetman, his Power Only Driver of the Year.
You make me sound good.
Next is our RV Center Rail Driver of the Year. Gentleman's been with us for 3 years, has become a very highly respected driver in the RV division amongst all of his peers. 26 years holding the CDL. Wife of 16 years, Laura, with 2 great sons that they are very, very proud of. He is working on his first claim-free 1,000,000 miles, very, very close to that. Is one of our #1 go-to guys. He's one of our biggest recruiters and one of our best driver mentors out there. Anytime we need someone to do anything or teach anything in RVs, this is the gentleman we asked to do it. Has become very, very respected, like I said, by everybody in the RV industry. He is very sought after by many, many companies, and we're lucky enough to have him. If you would, please join with me, congratulate Shawn McDaniel.
We have a very special guest that has joined us in the room this morning. It is my pleasure to introduce the chairman of Richard Childress Racing, the man himself, to give you a few words of encouragement and thanks for being here, Mr. Richard Childress.
Wow, what an honor it is to have so many great folks here today with the Bennett family of trucking and Miss Marcia, Taylor, I'm gonna get it right this time, and Lynette. Great to have you both here, and, you know, I was thinking that they asked me to come up here and talk a little bit. I thought back, I might have close to 1,000,000 miles of driving a truck myself, so keep it up, you'll get there. I remember I started out in towing old race cars around with a pickup truck back in the early 60s. And then I finally got me a truck that I could go to California with, and went to Riverside, and I think it was 1973 was my first time driving out to California. But I gained so much respect from the time that I was driving trucks. I mean, I drove my own truck to the racetrack, hauled my own race car. I'd get in the car and race it, get back out, get in the truck, and I would drive over to the next racetrack or drive home and work on it, or the next parking lot even work on it if we had to. Back in them days, you did what you had to do. But, man, I think back to the many truck stops that I stopped in. Back in those days, you could just drive however long you had. Now, with the trucks that we have here and the trucking that we have, there's so many regulations and laws and everything. And they need that, because back in the day, you know, two of us would drive straight through to California as hard as we could go. But going to those truck stops and meeting the truckers, men and women, it was unbelievable. You gain so much respect for what every one of you do. America depends so much, so many vital things happen in this country, only because we have great people like the drivers we have here today. And congratulations to every one of you for the awards you got. They're well earned, and you gain a lot of respect from your peers from the awards that you received today, I'm sure. But I just wanted to welcome everyone and tell a story or two about driving those old trucks back in the day. I want to tell one real quick. But I ain't kidding you. I was thinking about, well, what are you going to talk to the people you got so much respect for that goes out and delivers and drives trucks? And I know this had to be in 1973 or 4. Old kid that worked for me was Tim Brewer. We had an old, we had about a 70, pretty decent old truck that we were going out there, but it didn't have no air conditioning. And going down through Texas, it must have been, it had to be 115 degrees in that old truck driving that thing. Well, we finally took our shirts off, and we took brake ducts and put coming out of the windows and put it in there. Well, we finally ended up taking our pants off and riding out there in our underwear. So that, you know, it's funny, and I'm sure every one of you truckers have got stories, not like that, but you probably got great stories that you can sit around and think, but you're shaking your head, yes. But you know, the country, you go up and down the roads and you see and meet the many trucks on the highway, and you think, I just was told today we had 3 trucks delivering at the winery down here, and I hope y'all get a chance to see it or go by, or if you get a chance to leave here. But, you know, our stuff wouldn't happen without trucks, and our race teams, they're as important, the truck drivers that drive those trucks and get us to the racetrack are as important as our race drivers. Without the commitments and everything that these truck drivers do, we couldn't race every day. It's, you know, they're there, they're the first people at the track and the last person to leave. And you can always depend on them. And now we have 2 truck drivers for each hauler, because you can't go there and work on around the track and then go back again. But I just wanted to thank you all, take a minute and tell a quick story or two and let you know what an honor it is to be associated with the Bennett family of truckers. And Ms. Taylor, thank you for all you do in Lynette. We've been very fortunate to partner up with a great, great company that we believe in. We all respect highly the American flag. We all respect highly the military, our veterans. We have veterans coffee here every other Wednesday. We just had a big coffee breakfast here this past Wednesday. And to meet that and to know how much effort should you put into it, the wreaths across America, the many things you do, it makes us proud to be partners with a company or a group of companies that have the same beliefs that we have here. So thank you all and enjoy the rest of your day and get a chance, not driving trucks, but have you a little shot of Childress wine.
I wanted to make sure just that we have some more drivers of the year, and some of those folks were not able to join us here. And so I just wanted to quickly recognize those that weren't able to join us. And so the first, as Jim Utley mentioned, are the Levatino, Salvatore, and Debra. This team has earned very special distinction in 2022. It shouldn't be minimized. They grossed over $1 million. Let that sink in. $1 million to their truck. Something very few drivers will ever accomplish. Since they're on a well-deserved vacation during this event, we'll be recognizing this dynamic duo at our Joplin Terminal Open House in May amongst all the team that works so closely with them. But for now, let's give them a big round of applause, Salvatore and Ervin. Next is the Boss Crane Operator of the Year, Caleb Saunders. Caleb joined Team Boss in 2016. He hired in as a swamper, but was quickly moved to a rigger position. From the start, we recognized Caleb as a very hardworking, dependable, responsible, and dedicated employee. Caleb is a talented and safe crane operator and a leader in our industry. He's considerate to his fellow coworkers and always goes the extra mile with a smile. He is a true professional and has good relationships with our customers using his experience, skills, and knowledge to help tackle difficult situations. This very talented and strong all-American family man is married with 2 children. We're very blessed to have Caleb Saunders on our Boss team. Let's give a round of applause for Caleb Saunders, Boss Crane Operator of the Year. Next is the Boss Driver of the Year, David Dotson. This was written by our terminal manager in Palestine, Joy Massey, so if it sounds like it comes from a woman's point of view, I'm not going to do it justice unless I let you know. David Dotson is a wonderful young man, 50 years old. See, like that wouldn't work from just me, right? He's a wonderful young man at 50 years old. He's been married for 30 years, has 2 children, and 1 precious 10-year-old granddaughter. After David graduated from high school, he started working at Brookshire's warehouse, fueling and washing trucks. At the age of 19, he got his CDL so he could drive the Berkshire trucks back and forth to the Volvo shop for repairs. And soon after, he started driving on the routes. He worked there for 13 years. David decided to broaden his horizons and started working with us in the oil field moving, drilling rigs. He started out very cautious with a slickback truck, but soon mastered the winch trucks. Who here knows what a slickback truck is? Anyone? Educate me. No? Go down to the oil field and they've got a whole different world. He's been here now 18 years. He's grown as a man and a wonderful, safe, and skilled truck driver. David, as a professional, can handle any load from small to big, such as cranes and the biggest loads on the drilling rigs. He investigates his permit routes and always willing to help others with big to small details. David is definitely a leader in the trucking industry. He's talented, pleasant, and meets every day with a smile. When you meet David Dotson on the road, give him a wave and a smile, and he will surely give you one back, because he'll be enforcing with Boss, safety is priority 1. Let's give a round of applause for David Dotson, Boss Driver of the Year. Next is the Boss Transportation Services Driver of the Year, Skip Lynch. Harold Skip Lynch has been with Boss Transportation Services, soon to be Boss Heavy Haul, for 4 years. Skip is an asset to BTS in many ways. He is one that will always help when he can. As an owner-operator, Skip takes great pride in his equipment. We jokingly refer to his truck as a show truck. Other drivers that have been on the job with Skip say he's always very helpful and willing to show them the ropes. We are very proud to have Skip on our team. We would like to give our appreciation to Skip's wife, who is also there to support him. What makes any team great is a great team member, and Skip is definitely that. Let's give a round of applause for Skip Lynch, Boss Transportation Services Driver of the Year.
Down at Austin's So, you know what was interesting here is, I was supposed to introduce, Richard Childress. And Kris had, like he always does, he prepares the script for me. And as time goes by, the script gets shorter and shorter because he knows I'm not gonna read it anyways. But he's still nice enough to do this for me. And I read the script a few times that I was supposed to say for Richard Childress. And I was like, this is almost like a setup. It was like, you know, I was the CFO for blessed to be part of this company for almost 16 years now. The script read like, as a CFO, it was kind of tough for me to get my head around supporting this program, and now as a president, I can see the value. That was the script. Well, fact is, I believe that script. Even though I didn't have to read it, it's kind of where my heart is. And glad to come here today, walking through this shop, and we still have more to see, right? But it's pretty impressive organization they have. And I kind of missed the fact that I didn't get a chance to introduce it because I've never been in this process. But just the folks that we've met already have a lot of the same values that we have. And the sign down there on that wall that says, "The family that works together will win together." Right? That's who we are. That's so much who we are. I want to say we should have it on the wall at Bennett, right? Because we absolutely are a family that works together, and we win together by doing it so diligent. And to the drivers in this room, you know, logistics is a complicated business, and Fitz likes to say, most a simple business and simple still, you should just do one at a time. But we know your lives aren't easy. Logistics, I've been in two facets of this. Now, I was in the aviation business for 21 years, and now I'm in this business and working on the 16th year. My daughter was in the rail business, so we've done everything except be in the bus business, the state business. Like I said, I'm part of that too. And in each of these areas you think about, so an aircraft has a captain, a locomotive has a conductor, and a vessel has a captain. And as drivers, you're the captain of your truck. You shouldn't think any less than that. And I count my blessings all the time to be associated with an organization that has faith, family, and patriotism at the top of this. And that's exactly what this organization seems to have as well. You know, I heard when you have a wedding and it rains, that means something good. So it just started raining, and somebody's probably getting married today, so let's hope these brides have a good day. But I sit in the office a lot. And when I'm out of office, I get in my car and I drive home. And I have dinner with my wife and my kids. And then I go upstairs and I go to bed. And you drivers provide me that benefit. You do that. And I don't think I thank you enough for that. Because it's just kind of common practice. That's my lifestyle. I get up early, I go to work, I work in the office, and have a roof on my head, and clothes on my body, and kids I put through school. I wouldn't do that without you drivers. So many things in my life I wouldn't do without you drivers. So I applaud you today. 4,600 that are out there. We as an organization don't take our opportunities and our blessings for granted. We know it comes from God, and we know our drivers are kind of like missionaries out there. You're away from your home, you're away from your wives. It's a blessing to see you here with your kids. You need to give your dad a big hug. He works hard to provide for y'all. We all do. And Ms. Sayer, thank you for this organization that you put God at the top of this pier. And you never hide behind that. You never hide behind the flag. And we all know we work for an organization that lets us do that. And you can practice prayer and faith and family all at work, right? You don't have to go to church to do that. You can do it right at work. And Richard Childress seems like that kind of guy. I still remember at the beginning of the unfortunate situation that your train's in, that he helped champion getting 1 million rounds of ammo sent over there, right? That's, talk about putting your money where your mouth is. That's what I saw happen. And, product came from humble beginnings like a lot of us. And he now has 400 people here in 15 buildings. And, they all seem to be pretty happy to be here. That's who we are, and that's who they are, so I'm glad to be here today, Kris. Thanks for writing the script, sorry I didn't say it like I had it, but hope the message is still the same.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, Tony.